Science, faith, and religion. The big divide. That's what we're talking about today on this Woo Woo Wednesday. Hi, I'm Dr. Jane, and I'm joined by the beautiful, wonderful Devi Jade. Hey, Jade.
Hey, thank you so much. And I'm joined by the wonderful and beautiful and marvelous and scientifically minded Dr. Jane.
This is a loaded topic. So, science versus religion, energy, faith, and I have been a person of great faith, as have you, but I do have that scientific mind. So what's the big divide and where do they cross and how can they be friends? Because I believe you can walk together in all of them.
You absolutely can. And, just for the sake of saying, I'll say this on the flip side, is the divide so wide anymore? Because it seems like it's getting closer and closer. And even the very best scientific minds that we know of, and the person that comes to my mind is Herr Einstein, because that is what he likes to be called. And that he absolutely would verify that there was something much larger than himself, that he was given those gifts to bring to us as much as we could possibly bear. But as a human person, he was very concerned that what he received would be not used in the best way, because energy is energy and you can use it this way or that. So really, if you want to talk about division, that's probably what is the definition of division for somebody like me or a scientific mind, because you cannot capture it in either way, and yet you can utilize it in all different ways.
Yeah, I think something that I've studied kinesiology and practice kinesiology with our clients, and a really interesting kinesiology is the science of energy and how everything is energy and how those energies interact and manifest. Basically is kind of an easy way to explain what it is. But it's actually studying the energy in your body and understanding that your superconscious is connected to that. And you can gain wisdom and insight and information from it. Interestingly enough, with thousands of tests over 50, 60 years, tens of thousands of tests, subjects, people, different walks of life, the one constant that scientists have found in testing energy, different degrees of faith, is that all of their testing is very standard. The results of the testing all agree with each other, except in people who have a very scientific mind combined with atheism, so the denial of a higher power. And only in those people were the results of the testing skewed. Everybody else, regardless of race, age, geographic location, gender, religious predisposition or lack thereof, all of their test results agreed, proving the science of kinesiology, but it doesn't work in that area. So why would that for me, that's where faith and science can meet and say, why would this be the one subsect of the human race that fails to test accurately with everybody else?
Honestly, because I'm not the person that does those type of tests, that I wouldn't particularly have an answer for that. I do have clients that come to me that are quantum physicists, and they are the most brilliant minds of the science. And when they write their theories, I worked with one quantum physicist for a long time. She was very square-minded. She had some sort of a belief, not much of a belief, because she was so inundated with the way that her mind functions, and it's meant to be for her. However, me coming into her life assisted her in broadening that perspective, because it's not that she could look at something and put a theory, a mathematical theory that's as long as what Einstein would do, and come up with something. But every once in a while it would glitch and she could not get the answer. And the two of us would be on the phone, and I could energetically see in my mind I could see pictures because that's how they work with me, how the gods and goddesses and the angels work with me. I get pictures or stories, and then I could describe what I was seeing, and then in her mind, for whatever reason, she could see it in numbers. And then she would implement it into the theory, and the theory would work. And so many, many times, see, ding dong, that was just God talking. It's like ding dong. And I think that, oh my God, this person is gonna wait for a freaking signature. Oh God, I'm sorry, I have to cut this off.
Okay, we're gonna pause.
So I'll give a quick example of that, and because I've never forgotten this, it was so beautiful. She couldn't get the equation that she needed, and because what I said a little bit ago, she'd get that, then she would take it and she would implement it, and it would be the theory would work, and then she could give it to her professors that were above her, and they could not figure out how she got it correct. Because being a woman, this is a little bit of a thing in here, but being a woman in a man's field, they would give her these really hard things to do, and then she would come up with it because the two of us would get together. We'd get, a very scientific male-oriented mind, and then we would get mine, which is very fluid and can see things in a different way, because every single thing in nature is mathematical if you put it together. So the example really quick is that she couldn't get this, and I, in my mind, could see a spider web. And I said, well, think about a spider web, how fine that is.
Uh-huh.
And then it rains on it, and those drops are so heavy, how can it hold? But it does. It doesn't rip it apart. And somehow, with her theory that she was doing, she could put it into numbers. I used to love working with her. So that's how those two things came together in a beautiful, harmonious way. And we did it paper after paper after paper. She's been published in a lot of very prestigious places at this point. And it's important because, if you do this persistence thing, which is what we were doing, persistence and flow,
right,
answer would come. So again, that push, a little bit of push, which is a male energy, and then an opening for a flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This actually reminds me of an exercise that I've done with clients when I first start working with them. Can I do it with you really quickly?
Oh, right.
Will you let me play with you? Okay.
I don't know.
Enjoy just a breath and close your eyes so we can see your beautiful eyeshadow. You look so beautiful today, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to say a series of words. And after I say these words, we'll just do 3, just make it fast. After I say these words, I want you to give me a brief description of what you see in your mind's eye. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. So enjoy a belly breath. Train.
Locomotive.
What do you see?
I see first I saw the fast one, then I went back in time and I saw the older one with all the steam rolling out of it and going back, and then I see inside the cars where everyone's just enjoying it, and all of the countryside that's out there, and people dressed in probably about the 1900s around in there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just planes and planes and planes. There's no buildings.
All right.
It's in the US. I see it.
Very cool. Okay, next word. Love.
Well, I just got I got these big pink bubble hearts that came out. And then it's an energy. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like whoop, whoop. It wasn't like that. It was just this big, beautiful energy, and it was coming out of me, and it was coming out of everywhere, and it's everywhere. And then it's turning into indigo, and it's just floating around. Now it's expanding out past the world, past our earth, and going out. So it's covering everything. That's what I see.
Awesome. Art.
Art?
Mhm.
Oh, I was standing in the middle of the Louvre. The Louvre, like
Ah,
looking around and just standing there. And again, I guess I'm in another time frame because I just see people when they're just around in the 1900s, and they're just admiring all these beautiful pictures of taking their time and really just being with the energy. It's super, super quiet in there, and everyone's being very respectful, but they're very much into what they're viewing. It seems like you're a minuscule person, and these paintings are gigantic, and the energy is very quiet and
calm.
grounding and respectful to the painters.
That's awesome. Thank you for playing with me. You can open your eyes. So I do that little, I do that exercise with people to figure out where their mind is oriented. So there's left brain, right brain, obviously, but some people, when I say those things, some people, when I would say train, and I don't pick the same words each time, but cat is one that I used recently, but you've had a recent experience with cats, so I didn't want to connect it to that. But some people will just see the word cat, like they'll actually see the letters CAT, and those are the more scientifically minded people. People who see shapes or people that they would associate with things or a time period, those are the more artistically minded people. They are usually more in touch with the energy in their body, and so they're able to make connections. They're able to connect dots that are a little bit farther away more easily than the people who would just see the word train, TRAIN, in their brain. Well, I just see the word. I just see the word love.
Wow.
And so it's really interesting because we all see things in different ways. And that those aren't the only two ways, but those are just lumping them really big together. And that's a way to see the difference. And so people with more scientific minds who want to see the proof in the pudding, I think that it's a big stretch. Faith is a big stretch for them sometimes because religion is organized and there's rules. Science is organized and there's rules and theories and hypotheses. But then faith is this big question mark bubble kind of in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So how do people on either end of the spectrum, how can they reconcile the faith part in relation to where they are?
Well, let's take this person, for example, because I worked with her for many years and, changing things. And the first thing is that it's that basic word. It's called rapport and love with, just when you're just creating a relationship with a person and they get to where they trust you more, just doing very basic things. We just talked about her career and work and where she was going. So you you find what they love the most, what's their passion, and I create rapport with them that way. And then as time goes on and we have built up this trust, spirit will tell me, or the angels, guides, they'll start telling me, okay, let's introduce things. So it's almost like like if you were going to put something on a plate to eat for a child and you just kind of gently introduce that, and they might look at it for a while, and then you're eating it and you're eating it, and then for whatever reason they feel like, okay, that's good, let's do that. So I do that, and then I expand it and I expand it and I expand it, and then going into her career and looking at her career and where she's going and what she's doing and the people that are connecting with her, all of that helped her to broaden her mind. And she had a great love of horses. And so when she found that I could work with animals that way, for whatever reason, she got out of her belief system. It's like, if it's out of the box, I don't even care at this point, because I want to be able to communicate with my horse in a way that I know I can't communicate. So there's some little thing around in there where you can tap, 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 and then all of a sudden they'll tap back at you and you can go through. And then that's what really started growing her idea of, I could go into this world too and make quantum physics work both, because she did understand that energy is energy and that everything's an illusion. There is that. They do get very much articulated into their blah, 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 blah. It's like a little robotic thing.
Yeah.
So so that makes it difficult for them to have a really great relationship, because they honestly, they don't have that peace. It's like if you don't get with one scientist with another, you know, there's a breakdown. But so she's learned how to speak more eloquently, understand how to work with human nature more, and it actually helped her in her career to go up and broaden it, so that she could get a wider view of what she wanted, instead of this skewed view of this is where she would be in the world.
Yeah.
And it really was very helpful. She even got to where she was going into the forest, and she was a phenomenal photographer.
Mm.
She'd take these beautiful pictures of like mushrooms, and she'd find all these things that I believe in, which are fairies. She'd take pictures of all these things, and I pointed, and she just automatically started going into that. And so she was able to combine the two of those things, and felt more centered as a person, because these things all of a sudden came in like this, instead of just kept staying out there like that.
Yeah, that's really, because she's a quantum physicist. It's really interesting because in kinesiology, we align more with the studies of theoretical physics, which, you know, that's the linear and then the nonlinear. Right. So it's interesting that she's been able to cross that divide. So it is possible for people with really scientific minds to tap into their faith. What you're saying is you just have to find that one open space in their own personal filter, and then expand on that there.
That's true, because once you clamp on to, and what it is, if you want to, for me, my experience, because I do a lot of kinesiology as well, but my experience in doing this with her as an example is that I found what her little inner child loved. Mm-hmm. She's buried it with all that other stuff. And so we just kind of kept going in there, and her little child says, I love horses. I really like them. I don't care what it takes. I want to be able to, you know. And so once you find that little excitement from that inner child, they'll just push aside all that stuff and come running through.
Yeah, because they desperately want fulfillment.
Yeah, and that little child, yeah, and it's like, I can be a scientist all day, but this is a lot more fun to ride horses.
So awesome. So awesome. Cool. Well, if anybody has any questions, please type them down. Let us know what you think. Give us a thumbs up if you think that Jade looks amazingly beautiful and her makeup is just perfect today. I'm a little jealous. Then give us a thumbs up and subscribe, and make sure that you check out the video description. You can check out Jade's channel as well. There's a link down there to that, and all sorts of goodies, as well as finding out how to work with us if you'd like us to do any of these things with you. Right, Jade?
That's right. Thank you so much. And please do our little experiment that we did. Have your friends do it, and then come to us. We'll do it with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So until next time, make sure that you do hit subscribe, the little bell, so you know the next time that we drop a video to help you live a life with more success and lower stress. See you next time.